How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Andy here. Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm joined by Christopher from Sellerboard. How are you doing, Christopher?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having us on the show today. We're looking forward to talking to you guys about some new features.
Absolutely. Yeah, I heard that was some new features going on at Sellerboard, and I thought it'd be a really good way to get you on and explain exactly what's going on, because I really do rate Sellerboard as a software. And I think, as you're growing your Amazon business, keeping track of your numbers and having oversight of that sort of stuff is so important, especially when you get to scale. So for anyone that doesn't know, could you just give us a sort of top-down overview of Sellerboard and let us know what it's all about?
Yeah, definitely. So Sellerboard is a software and mobile application with profit analytics, inventory management, advertising optimization, listing change alerts, scheduled customer messaging, request and review automation, and money back made easy for your Amazon-based business. We call it the most affordably effective tool for Amazon sellers of all sizes. And our two founders are continually working on new features all the time to give the maximum value to the customer.
Cool. That's awesome. So effectively, when I first started on Amazon, didn't have the benefit of all the software that we have now. It's a lot easier for people getting started. But one thing that I've said over and over again, I mean, numbers is not my strong point. I can find the deals, I can make the relationships, I can put things together, but the numbers are my weak point. And it's so important to get a grip of the overview, because especially at scale, you could be having money coming in and going out and think it's great until it comes time to look at your taxes, and then you realize you haven't actually made any money, which is kind of a scary prospect. So
absolutely. Yeah. And I'm the exact same way. Andrew, I'm a lifetime entrepreneur, and my strength is doing the exact things that you said, building the relationships, pushing the big boulder up the hill, making it happen, crash through the walls, building a team and being successful in business. But when it came to numbers, my brother got that part of the brain. He's a CPA and he's a lawyer, and he understands those numbers. And I need something myself that will aggregate everything and make it real easy, real palpable, so I can just go in there every day when I was a seller before I sold my business and check, and I can see my leading indicators on my health of my business.
Excellent. Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, I think, is the clarity that it gives you, that it shows you in really easy to understand formats visually, so you can have a quick look and see exactly how everything's going for inventory management and all that good stuff. So what do you want to talk about now? Do you want to talk about the sort of new features that are coming up? Because there's some exciting stuff going on as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for that pitch. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. And we can start talking about some of the new features that are available in Sellerboard. Okay, cool. Can you see my screen, Andrew?
Yep, I can.
Okay, yep. Awesome. All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk about the new features in Sellerboard. And Sellerboard has had the autoresponder feature for some time. So, of course, this is a feature that'll shoot a message out through Amazon to a customer that's bought one of your products. And the new thing that we want to talk about today, though, is the request review automation. So Amazon, about a year and a half ago, gave us this wonderful feature as sellers to be able to push a button to request a review from our customer. And they send out a special message that looks like this, that actually asked the customer to rate the item. So that's a product review, and then also rate the experience with the seller, and that is seller feedback. And I remember when this happened, I still own my business, I hadn't sold it yet. We would have one of the owners or my wife, or you can also have like a virtual assistant that would have to manually go through all the orders and push this request a review button. So what Sellerboard has done is they're tied in through Amazon's API, and now instead of just sending some sort of other template solicitation to your customers through a campaign, you can select this feature in Sellerboard, and you can automatically send out this request a review and request a seller feedback template to the customers. So obviously, if you had somebody on your team doing this manually before, this is going to be a huge time saver for you and your team, and it will be automated. And we saw great fruit from that feature when it first came out, because we had consumables, and we saw a lot of the repeat customers that had never left a seller feedback or a product review, all of a sudden say, yeah, I bought this product 5-6 times. I really like it. And they went ahead and left those product reviews. That was the biggest thing for us because we owned our own brands. And we saw, half a star rating here or there on the product listing can make a big difference in your sales. So this is the request review automation feature that we're very excited about.
Nice.
So next thing we'll talk about today is the PPC dashboard. So basically, if you've sold on Amazon before and you're an experienced seller, if you're just getting started, Amazon has something called Amazon advertising. And the biggest thing within Amazon advertising is their PPC functionality. So Sellerboard, basically, once you're connected through their API, through Amazon Seller Central, will automatically populate the campaigns within Sellerboard here. And what we're trying to do is take another job out of your day, because as an owner, you're wearing many hats, or if you have a team, they're wearing many hats, or you have a virtual assistant and you're trying to figure out how can we automate things instead of delegate things. So what we've created is kind of a PPC robot, if you will, that's going to be able to take in your Amazon PPC campaigns, and then you're going to be able to put some metrics in here about what your goals are. I remember when we would launch a new product, we were very aggressive out the gate when we launched a new product. So we'd be much more aggressive in these metrics. We would be looking for maybe a small loss on each sale just to get the product in people's hands and get the penetration out there so we could rank high on Amazon's platform. But sure. Once you get going, as you know, Andrew, you want to really focus on profitability because if you're not profitable, then you don't have a business. So then as you go on, you might after a few months and you've got it in customers' hands, you might turn it from aggressive to moderate. You might be looking at a different amount of clicks or a different amount of steps, and you would be messing around with these metrics for what your goals are. And then once you get it dialed in, it's something that instead of checking, every day or 5 days a week, you can really be a lot more passive about. And Sellerboard will take care of all the different changes that are necessary to meet your goals. And when you want to check on the Sellerboard PPC robot, if you will, you can actually go in and see exactly what it's been doing. You can see exactly where it's made the changes, why it's made the changes, and you might be able to look at these numbers and it tells a story about what's going on. Maybe you had a new competitor enter the market that wanted to be super aggressive. Maybe there was a Black Friday in the States here. We have Black Friday, and I know in parts of Europe there's Black Friday. Maybe there was something going on Black Friday that made a big change or a big deviation. And you can see that, all in the automation log. And if you still want to see, a lot of people love spreadsheets, kind of like it's like their teddy bears as an adult, my spreadsheets. You can download your spreadsheets, and then the accountant on your team or the person that's really analytical, or if that's you can still have your spreadsheets and you can look at it in Excel or Google Docs. So another very exciting feature that's in beta.
Sure, that's really cool. That's going to save a lot of time for sure. Definitely.
I remember my business partner was the one that was handling PPC in our business. We started 7 years ago, so we're kind of OGs in that respect, kind of like you. And he would be in there. I mean, that would take 5 to 10 hours of his week in the beginning until we got everything dialed in. So again, another feature that I would have loved when I was a seller. So next, let's talk about money back. Now, believe it or not, Amazon does have human beings running their business. They are a gigantic behemoth, and a lot of people consider them the biggest company in the world. But there's human beings running the customer service. There's human beings that are actually writing those algorithms within Seller Central and all the different things that are going on behind the scenes. And there is mistakes that will happen from time to time. So we have a money back feature because oftentimes there's money that's owed to you, and Amazon slips up and doesn't realize they need to send it back to you through your payouts. This doesn't happen on a very regular basis, but it happens to everybody I've ever talked to that have sold on Amazon for some time. We would have to manually go through the return reports. We'd have to manually go through the inbound shipment reports. We'd have to manually go through and check our different dimensions and our weights and our categories back in the day. to make sure that these changes didn't happen or that Amazon didn't owe us any money. So that's kind of a laborious thing to do for any business owner. So Sellerboard thought so too, and the money back feature was invented. So basically, there's 3 different categories. When your inventory goes into Amazon, there is different FBA warehouses. The FBA warehouses can actually lose your inventory. So a human being might lose it. It might get lost on one of the many machines that they have. And then if you send in 100, maybe only 75 got checked in, or it could get damaged. This happens a lot as well. Just something happens because there's human beings involved, and they drop and they break and damage your goods. And sometimes, and most of the time, I would say, you will see an automatic reimbursement from Amazon, but not always. So what you do is you go in here. I would recommend if you're at a 6-figure business or higher, you should probably do this at least bi-monthly. Maybe if you're a little bit smaller than that, you should look at doing this at least every 6 months. Just go into Sellerboard, you go into lost and damaged. We populate all the data because we're already tied in through Amazon's backend Seller Central. And in this data set, Amazon owed us $693, which is no chump change to anybody.
No, that adds up for sure.
It adds up. And so what you do is just download the report. And then we've even made a template for you to copy and paste. Just enter in the right information here. You go into seller support, you do a new ticket, and you send this off to them. And what we've seen is that Amazon wants to do the right thing. If they owe you money, they want you to have the money. So once you point it out to them, they verify it. They'll see that. They'll send a message back to you. Sometimes they ask for a little bit more information. And most of the time, after 1 or 2 interactions, then you'll say that they're going to put that payment on the next payout, which is great. And so the same sort of thing will happen for returns. So you just go in here and you click returns. And this might be a scenario where somebody, let's say you're selling USB fans. Someone got the USB fan. Oh, I don't like this shade of yellow. I thought it was going to be more of a canary yellow and less of a yellow submarine yellow. They want to return it. They push the return button. They never send it back. Amazon misses the fact that they never send it back within the 30 days, and they never give you the money back as a seller. Again, normally this will all be automated. It will get returned to you, but there's bugs. There's bugs in the system. So if it did not get returned to you, this report would find it. This report would say all those different yellow submarine fans never got back to our FBA warehouses. And then they realize that money is due to the seller because, in fact, they never got the inventory back. So you run this report. In this instance, it was $237, those yellow submarine fans. It's the same thing here. It's a little bit redundant, but you download the report, you push the show template, you get your template in order, you put it in to Amazon Seller Central, and you get that email back from them, and they say, yeah, we understand what you're saying. This is real, and you'll get that money back on your next payout period. So yeah, no, it's great. I mean, and this, again, like I remember, I think we were a couple years into our business before we did this for the first time. So I think for us, it was in the thousands. And when you're growing and you're going from 1,000 purchase order, maybe 5,000 purchase order, cash flow is a big issue. And you want to make sure that you have every dollar and cent to reinvest and to also reinvest into advertising. So it's no matter your size, it's super important.
Definitely.
So this is a little bit different. It's in the same vein. It's still the money back feature, but every now and then your category on your product can get changed. We don't know why this happens. Sometimes maybe it's another seller that changes it. Maybe it's just an Amazon glitch. This can happen from time to time. I can think of it probably happening like 8 to 10 times in 7 years. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen.
Yeah.
The other thing that happens on a more regular basis is that all of a sudden my USB fan that weighed 1 pound, I'm American, so I'm going to say 1 pound. When I originally started, now all of a sudden Amazon's saying it's 2 pounds and it's twice the size. And if you don't catch that, you will start to see a much larger fee for the logistics that's required to send out that fan in the mail. Well, then you're going to lose that profit margin. you also could lose that profit margin if it's in the wrong category, because certain categories, believe it or not, do charge a different commission. So the FBA fee changes, the same thing. You just basically just push the button. We auto-populate everything for you. In this case, we didn't have any of those issues. But if you did, you would download the report, you contact seller support, have your template, and send it in, and then you would get that money back.
Awesome. Yeah, this is all great, because if you add all that up in terms of time and money, that makes a massive difference. As you say, cash flow, especially as you're growing, is so important, and that could be the difference with another order and another load more money to keep things pushing on. So yeah, it's a fantastic tool.
Absolutely, yeah, it's so important. And again, you don't want to have to do this manually. It's a very important thing to do, but you don't want to do it manually. So just go ahead and just have Sellerboard do it for you. And another thing that's super important is the lifetime value of a customer. So this is a new feature that just released 2 weeks ago within Sellerboard. So LTV is lifetime value. So especially if you're in the consumables sector, if you sell any type of product that's going to be bought again and again, which can really relate to most product categories if you really get deep with the thought on it, you want to know, once you start selling, what's the value of that customer that's bought my product? Well, why would you want to know that? Well, if you want to be aggressive with your advertising, or you want to be aggressive with your price point to begin with to acquire those customers, you want to start seeing that data aggregation and understand when those buyers are coming back and doing a repeat buy. How much are those buyers worth to me during these different time frames? And even when you get deeper into your business and maybe you do want to sell one day like I did, the people that are going to acquire your business, if they're astute business people, they're going to ask you the lifetime value of your customer. They're going to want to know that. And that's going to be very important to them. And it's also going to make your business worth a lot more. So basically, the LTV feature, similar to the other parts of Sellerboard, you have all the control. You can look at the different time periods. You can look at all your products. You can look at all the marketplaces, or you could go in and decide on specific marketplaces. And basically what we're showing you is, in the last 3 months, this is the accumulated sales per buyer. This is the accumulated sales per buyer in the units. And this is accumulated orders per buyer, the amount of orders. So we're giving you these different metrics to help you understand how much it's costing to acquire those customers, and then also how much those customers are spending within the different time frames. We have tiles down here, so you can look at it on a micro basis. You can go in and see what the red cardboard box is looking like. I mean, that's pretty linear there. It looks like there wasn't much variation. But here we go. When we look at the accumulated sales per buyer, there was a difference. And then you can go back and you can look at these different time frames. And then maybe you talk to your business partner who's handling growth, and you just ask them, what's going on here? We're starting to see a bigger growth. Did we do something different? Did we have a lightning deal? Did we have a Prime Day special? Did we do something, to make these sales go up? Or is it just organic? He might come back to you and tell you, no, it must just be organic. We didn't do anything different. But either way, it's super important to look at. And you can also look at it, per marketplace. I remember we were selling on 5 or 6 different marketplaces when we sold our business. So so this is LTV.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really good. Really, really interesting to see the evolution of Sellerboard, and the fact that they keep pushing and they're not just sitting on their laurels, and just keep innovating and looking for new ways to save time and money. That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of the things that impressed me too when I first found out about Sellerboard after I sold my business, is the fact they keep on adding features, but they're not trying to gouge the customer. Mm-hmm. They keep the low value price point and just try to continue to give more and more to our partners and to our customers. So I'm just excited about it too. So the last feature I want to talk about is compare. And this is in the standard profit section of Sellerboard in your tiles. And basically, this is just another great thing for an astute business person to look at. It's just showing you with this selection, here's our sales, units, refunds, and net profit this week versus last week, versus 2 weeks ago, versus 3 weeks ago. And right now we have all of our products selected. We have all the marketplaces selected. And you can go in there and you can look at these different things and even do a custom range. And again, it's all about understanding what's going on in your business, and the numbers tell a story. So as we can see today, maybe the day is not complete yet. So let's look at this month versus last month. So this month we're at 18,062.32. Last month we were at this, and we have to go into our business and understand what's going on. We sold a little bit more units. Maybe it was just the time of year. Maybe it was the quarter. We had a little bit less refunds. So there wasn't much variation in this comparison, but sometimes there is. Sometimes you might look at this month versus last month, and it be a leading indicator that for some reason you ran out of a particular variation. Maybe you had a 2-pack of something, it sold out. You had so many repeat customers on that particular listing, they really wanted the 2-pack. And instead of buying the 2-pack, they just went on to try one of your competitors because they had a better value. Numbers tell a story. And once you're in your business for long enough, you're really going to be able to see these things and be able to react and make the changes necessary so you can continue to see that healthy growth curve.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really essential, isn't it? Because getting that overview is really important. I've been there myself, trying to, get a grip of accounting, getting a grip of juggling all the different balls at once, and trying to do everything yourself and trying to be independent and sort of wading through the things that maybe you're not so good at compared to the things that you are good at. But like having something like that as a tool to be able to just throw it up, have a quick scan over it. Is everything on target? Is everything going well? The peace of mind to be able to just say, yep, all good. Inventory is looking good. Sales are on target, more or less where they need to be. Happy days. To be able to just quickly look at that is a really awesome thing for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I just remember, I've been a lifelong entrepreneur, and I had a traditional business before I entered the Amazon space. And these are the types of things that we used to pay a bookkeeper or CPA to present to us on a weekly basis so we can make these decisions when you're leading a big team, or even if you just have a small business. And a lot of times they would give us information that was wrong, and we'd make a decision based on wrong information. It would cost us a lot of money and a lot of time. So we always care about human resources. We always, support jobs and support using contractors and all that sort of thing. But you don't want to do that until you can automate and semi-automate a task. Once you've automated, semi-automated it, and it's plugged in directly to the source, giving you the real-time data, you really can't beat that. And that's something that you want to do before you make a hire in that particular area of your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about that, can we just quickly go over the current price structure of Sellerboard at the moment? Because that's pretty amazing, really. Compared to other Amazon tools that you can get, it's not unusual to be paying $50 a month for certain pieces of Amazon software. And, these things add up. So if you've got 3 or 4 tools that you're using and you want to make use of, absolutely, I think investing in your business is important, but also I try and encourage people to choose the right tools and make sure they're working for you. And Sellerboard is always surprising me at the actual price point that we're at compared to other tools, compared to what you're actually saving in time and what you're getting out of it in terms of being able to get your money back from Amazon and all that sort of stuff. What are we looking at in terms of monthly and yearly costs for Sellerboard?
Absolutely. So, and I totally agree with you. Like I calculated, I would have saved between $300 and $400 a month if I had been using Sellerboard during the time in my business. Which, amazing. And I have 3 kids, and we were doing really well, but still, every cent counts. Absolutely. So we have plans starting at $15 a month. We call Sellerboard the most affordably effective tool for Amazon sellers of all sizes. And I know that you're going to provide a link to your watchers and listeners that'll give them 2 free months, a 2 free month trial, no credit card required for Sellerboard and all the features. And we start at $15 a month. Our standard packages will go up to $23, $31, $63 a month. And then enterprise packages, once you start to really scale and get bigger, start at $127, and our largest one's at $359 a month. But again, that's for major sellers. That's for sellers that are doing major amounts of money and major amounts of transactions in many marketplaces. So don't let that intimidate you. We really scale with your business. Yeah,
I imagine most people are going to be at the $15 to $20 mark all the way through. And to be honest with you, it's a nice problem to have. If you end up paying Sellerboard a reasonable amount of money, it's because you're making a really decent amount of money. So it's not it's not a bad thing at all. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm continually impressed by by what you can get out of Sellerboard. And myself, coming from my own point of view, being someone who's not the strongest with numbers, anything that can help me make it easier, make it more obvious, and to be able to give me the information I need easily and simply in that sort of a format, I'm all over. So that's why I recommend Sellerboard. And the best thing to do if you're getting into it, have a go with the link in the description. There's 2 free months. There's plenty of time. Plug in your details. It's really simple to import the data, and then just have a play around with it and see what you can get out of it. And you've got 2 months to really test it out and have a look at the tools. So I definitely would recommend, if you've not done it yet, give it a go and see it for yourself for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for allowing us to come on and talk about the new features. And again, I sold a business. I really don't have to be working right now, but I'm just really passionate about this software. And I really think it's wonderful, because from the entry-level person that's just getting started on Amazon to the sellers that are maybe the top 5,000, we see these big companies that have birthed out of nothing and gone up to being huge. And then people just starting off can get those same features, those same tools to be able to really be a sophisticated business person from the start. So we look forward to hopefully welcoming some of your subscribers to Sellerboard. And thank you so much again for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on, Christopher. I appreciate your time.